Let me ask you guys a question that I get asked from time to time. Does indoor practice, using a simulator on a mat, hitting into a screen indoors without the elements all around you, does it help your game? Is it anything like real golf at all? Is it worth the investment or the time, or is it just basically a glorified toy? Hey everybody, welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to help your game. The question at hand, the question that I've chosen to tackle today is, does indoor golf practice on a simulator or even just into a net in your backyard using a launch monitor, does that help your game, or does it lead to unrealistic expectations on the golf course once you get out of the garage or out of your backyard and onto your local golf course? It's an excellent question. I've heard a lot of different arguments. I've heard evidence presented in both sides of the argument. And while I have my own personal beliefs, which I'll share with you at the end of this video, I think that maybe both sides of the argument could be right. Now, the people that don't like golf simulators or don't believe in them, they talk about them as if they're just essentially glorified indoor toys. One of the big points that they make, and it is very valid, it is a valid point, is that you always have a perfect lie on this mat. I've got a very nice mat here supplied to me by 24/7 Golf. Link is down in the description below if you're interested. But every time you hit a shot, you do, in the physical realm, have essentially a quote-unquote perfect lie. That is very true. One of the ways they combat that is to set you up in such a way as to handicap you. If I'm playing a round of golf and I hit a tee shot, of course, you're going to have a perfect lie, but if I hit that tee shot out into the rough, it's going to probably reduce the power meter on there by about 10 to 15%, meaning it's going to penalize you. You can swing as hard as you want at that golf ball, but you're going to lose 10 to 15% of what you were going to get. Also, it cuts the spin down. It tries to make it even more realistic through the software. Now, if I hit into a bunker and I've got to hit a bunker shot, that power meter goes down even further to where maybe I'm only getting about 20 to 25% of my actual input of force into the golf ball that will actually show up on screen. I feel like they're doing the best they can, at least on a low level. You can certainly get into the golf zone, which moves and pitches everything around to be on the exact angle and lie that you have on the golf course, and then they actually simulate those lies with different kinds of mats that you hit off of. Like a bunker mat might have grass blades coming out of it that are this deep, and then the rough would be like this, and then of course, you know, for a fairway lie it would be even tighter. Now, where simulators can really fall short is in the outdoor elements that have nothing to do with the lie on the turf. It might be wind, swirling wind, heavy wind, light wind, breezy, or it could be a light drizzle. It could be a heavy downpour. A simulator, at least at this current stage of their development, does not have the ability to simulate that properly. So that argument right there, I can't do anything about that one. They do make an attempt to have different types of wind that they simulate through the software on these games to try to create some element of reality. But if you play golf outside and you've played in windy conditions, you know that even standing over a putt, the wind is blowing past your ears. You can't hear correctly. You're even sometimes having trouble standing still in the breeze. Your ball might even start to oscillate and move around a little bit on the green without you even putting the club on it because the wind's so strong. It's really hard to recreate that in an indoor environment. Simulators are constantly improving, and I feel like the cost is becoming more and more affordable. It's going to take time, but they are getting much, much better. Till they achieve some sort of zen with the simulators that makes it like reality, almost indiscernible from reality. Think the holodeck on Star Trek. Until they do that, you're just going to have to accept the fact that these are different things. However, I don't think that that means that you can't improve your golf game on a simulator. As a matter of fact, I'm in the camp that I believe it can help you tremendously. For instance, here's the short game area. This is a large green set out in a practice area that has different types of fall to it. Some away from you, some into you, some left, some right. It breaks all over the place like a normal green. And you can place yourself anywhere around this green in E6 and give yourself longer shots, shorter shots, shots that have to go uphill, some that go downhill, and you play to it. Here, the flag is 39 yards away from me, and it's approximately 2 feet 4 inches higher than where this golf ball sits on the map. From here, I could try and play a bump and run out there. So let's try that. Let's get an 8-iron, 39 yards. Good Lord, my touch is going to be way off. I don't normally play a lot of bump and runs, but let's just hit a little bump and run shot here and see how it reacts on the green. That's probably going to get really short, really short. That's going uphill at the end, and I've left it 21 feet away. Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be as good as being out on the golf course in the short game area and going out and practicing for, say, 2 hours every day on that green? This one should get a lot closer. Go in. Go in. No. No, it's probably not. However, how many of us put in that time to practice? How many of us actually are going to go out to the short game area or the driving range every day or every other day? With a setup like this, I can come outside and I can put in, say, a half hour to an hour of practice, not have to waste time driving back and forth or putting the clubs in the car or making sure that the weather's good. I can come out here and chip around all the time. Now, if I wanted to play a different shot, something that wasn't an 8-iron, and I take out my 60 and I want to fly it most of the way to the hole and have it stop, I can practice that shot. So let's see, 39 yards. Let's say if I fly at about 35, I'll open it up just a little bit here and I'll try and toss it out there. That might come up a little short. Yep, just a hair. Flew at 32. 32. I don't have to get a bucket of balls. I don't have to chase them all down. I don't have to shag them. I can sit here and hit as many as I want to with the same golf ball time and time again. Let's see if I can get a little closer with this one. And work on these things and see the ball react when it lands on the green. See the stats and the data from that shot. It'll tell me how high it went, how far it carried, the total distance, how far it went off target. All of these great data points that you can't get in the real world. So for that, it's an excellent practice tool. How often can you get out and play actual rounds of golf? They take somewhere between 4 and 6 hours nowadays with all the crowds that you have to fight and get out there. And a lot of us can't afford to play a lot of rounds. A lot of us can't afford to go out and play 3 or 4 times with time or with money. But here, I can play a complete round of golf in probably about 25 minutes, no lines, no dress code. I can come out here and just play a ton. I could literally start this round on hole number 1 in Norway, which I can't just drive to Norway, and I can play probably about 6 to 8 rounds of golf on this device in the same time it would have taken me to play a single round in reality. So I get in much more higher frequency of practice. That's going to be pretty good, which means that I get more rounds of golf in. I get more swings with the club. Go, get left, get over there. I get in more swings. And when you're playing on the actual course, you get real world scenarios. You're not just out there bashing 7-iron 58 times. You hit a driver and then you're going to pull out, let's say from this shot, it's 80 feet. So we're going to need a little bit of a lob wedge. All right. So let's try and hit this shot. You're mixing it up. It's more like when you're on the golf course. So you get a much more effective practice. 80 feet is about, well, let's fly this about 25 yards. Probably short. Nope, that's all right. Turn around there. Come on, go in. Go in. Left it 2'5" away. I guess that short game practice I've been putting in on those putting greens is helping after all. I guess the point is this. A lot of people could benefit from more practice. That is what many golfers are lacking. They're lacking practice. We don't practice enough. We don't have time for it. We don't like it. We don't have good areas to go and practice in, a lot of us. Just chipping around out in your backyard is fine. That's one thing. But you don't get to see the rollout. And at least here you can see the rollout and how it's going to react when you hit a low punchy 54 or when you hit a high lobby 60 degree. And you get to see how it's going to play itself out in the real world better than if you landed it in your 4-inch fescue in your backyard. And the more we can practice, the better we can get, the closer you get to that 10,000 hours that we all need to become experts. Like I said, not everybody can afford a simulator, an in-home simulator. I've got a video out. If you can't afford an enclosure like this, I've got a video out where I put up a large 12-ounce canvas drop cloth. It's got tons of views. I did the whole thing for under 150 bucks, and you could project an image onto it. It's not going to be as crisp as this nice white reflective backdrop that I get from 24/7 Golf, but it will work. I played on it for a very long time. I hit tons of golf balls into it and it held up. That video is on my channel if you want to check it out. It's very affordable. The Garmin, and now from what I understand, the Rapsodo MLM is very affordable as well. I haven't tried that one myself. David Maxfield Golf has. He's got tons of videos on it. Go check that one out. But these devices are much more affordable. The projectors, you don't have to get the top of the line, especially if you're going to cast it into a cream colored canvas backdrop. You don't have to worry so much about having the top of the line projector or even a new projector. You can get them used. And then most of us have an iPad or your smartphone. A lot of times will push some of this software. I use an iPad. It's busted all to hell from my daughter dropped it down the steps and I just put a piece of Gorilla Glass over it and it works like a charm. It's the only thing I use it for. So I had a free iPad laying around. I'm just saying that these things can be much more affordable. You can look down in the description below and you can save yourself some money if you're trying to get this. And the answer to the question, does indoor practice make you better? I have gotten far better at golf than I ever would have the old-fashioned way by having this in my house. It's definitely something worth thinking about. Until next time, see you in the next video.